Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 4 hacks for productivity for 2023 in case this year was not your most productive year, which is totally fine. I'm the type of person that is not attached to the hustle culture. However, if you are finding it difficult or hard to stay focused and be productive for the times that you really needed it, I wanted to offer a couple of hacks and things that I've learned that have really helped me be productive when I choose and need to be. So in today's video, I'm going to be covering those 4 things. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment it down below or share your favorite productivity hack and something that you do in order to stay productive. So the first hack I have, and this is going to be something to experiment and get clarity on, is finding an organizational tool that works best for you. If you're the type of person that just keeps everything up here and then you wonder why things don't get done, it could be because you're keeping everything up here and leaving it up to memory or to chance that you're going to remember to do whatever you need to do. So you could use a organizational tool like a planner, or you could also use a digital platform like Trello, Notion, Asana, whatever it may be, and use that type of platform to keep track of all of the tasks or things that you might need to do. If you are working in a corporate environment, they might have something for you that they use internally. I know when I was working a 9-to-5, we use Trello a lot, and then I've worked with other freelancing clients. They like to use Asana. So you can kind of try out these different organizational tools, and a lot of them are free, the digital ones especially. So you can give these a try and figure out, where is the best place to keep some of these things that you need to be productive on. And, I would use some of these things even for work, just to kind of like stay organized with things that I was working on. Especially when I transitioned into a freelancer, I had all these different organizational tools kind of all over the place on things that I needed to keep track of for different clients. So I created a Trello board just to have a one-stop shop on what were the things I needed to be working on per client. And this is where I really want to emphasize that it's important to try things out. Back in college, I was using a planner like nobody's business. My planner was like my Bible, basically. And if it wasn't in my planner, it wasn't getting done, or I wasn't showing up to that event, whatever it may be. But as I've gotten older and obviously the digital world has progressed, I've been leaning more towards digital tools because I can have it on my phone and then have it on my computer and just have really easy access of that way. But I am moving back to, some things being written just because it is nice to write things down. However, I will transition, some things in a planner onto my Notion or onto my Google Calendar and things like that. And same thing, I have loved Trello so much, but now more recently I've been transitioning into Notion. Just trying that out. At first, Notion was super overwhelming for me. So I really have tried to simplify it over there, and I have been really liking Notion. So I definitely want to encourage you to try out whatever feels good to you and give it a really good test run to see if it's working for you. And then if it's not, move on to the next thing to try. I really want to empower you to at least have some place to organize the things you need to be working on, whether it's for work, your life, finances, whatever area of life. Just have a place to put all of these things, because you can put a lot of to-dos, goals, stuff like that, and be able to have a place to go to and kind of update as you go throughout your days, your weeks, and your months. So that is going to be the first hack, really figuring out what is that organizational tool to keep track of all the things you need to be working on, your to-dos and things like that. The second hack is, when are you going to work on these things, and finding an organizational tool to help you figure out when you're going to work on the things that you need to work on. And an easy one could obviously be a planner, having a physical planner or a digital planner. I've been seeing, the digital planners that people use on their iPads, or you could probably create a digital planner in Notion or something like that. But having a place to keep track of, okay, here's what I'm working on. Now, when do I need to work on these things? And being able to put a date and a time on when you are working on these things. I have shifted to Google Calendar. Google Calendar is my baby. If it's not on the calendar, it is not happening. And I've been able to implement things like time blocking and other things like that If you want a video on my Google Calendar and time blocking, leave a comment and let me know, because I have really found, my process for updating my Google Calendar and also keeping it very organized. And that has allowed me to stay productive. And it's also allowed me to figure out, what days are best for what. And while you're doing this, you can also start to associate certain days with certain actions. That's another little tiny hack that I'll throw in there for you guys, where you can start to see what actions feel best. This works whether you're working a 9 to 5, not working a 9 to 5, working for yourself, is making certain days related to certain actions. So like, for example, the schedule I used to have earlier this year was like Mondays were my admin day. That was preparing for the week, following up with people, whatever it may be. Tuesdays was usually like planning out any content that need to be created. Wednesdays, I would create that content, and I would also have meetings in between these things too. Thursday was editing that content, and Friday was like wrapping up anything else I needed to get done. And of course, there were some other things going on outside of content creation, but that's just to give you an example of that. And so finding a tool that really works best for you to plan when you're going to work on these things kind of allows you to create some pressure, and also allows you to know, okay, on Tuesday, I'm going to work on this. On Wednesday, I'm going to work on this, and helps you be a lot more organized rather than waking up and thinking, what am I going to work on today? What I would typically do is, the night before, that's when you can set a to-do list or something like that. I think that that's the best kind of way to make sure it's the most present information coming through. So if you're wrapping up your work day, before you head out and clock out at 5 p.m., like write a little to-do list for the next day so you have a plan going into the next day, rather than getting to work and thinking, oh, what am I supposed to work on today? So you can use the organizational tool for planning and organizing your actions, and then tie it in for the organizational tool as to when you're working on it, your schedule essentially, to be able to get those two things to work together to figure out when you're going to get things done and how you're going to get it done. And the third hack, which I kind of alluded to, was creating some type of to-do list. This will help you stay focused. And one way that I've been able to stay focused is using the Todoist Google Chrome extension. I have really loved using this extension on Google Chrome because I've been able to just have a to-do list handy and I can update it. I can also move things to the next day or the following day, which makes it really easy just in case things shift or priorities come up. I'm really able to stay on top of things, and it just feels good to check things off. The same thing you could do, having a physical to-do list in your planner, or having a digital planner, doing a digital to-do list, but having some type of to-do list would be great to just keep track of your daily things and make sure that you're making progress, and you can always move things over. And one thing I will say is to make sure you keep your to-do list manageable, really make sure that you're keeping 3 to 4 priorities for that day and not overwhelming yourself. Because I think a lot of the time what happens with people is that they put too much on their to-do list and then none of it gets done, and then they feel awful about themselves. And this always happens with clients where they're like, I didn't get that done, I didn't get that done. And I'm like, yeah, you had a lot on your list to begin with. You know what I mean? So make your to-do list light and manageable to begin with. And that way you can start to gauge how much is actually possible for you to get done in your day, and when can you also get other things done on the weekends and stuff like that too. And it also just feels good when you do check things off. So that is going to be hack number 3. And the fourth hack I have, which is going to compile a couple of final tips that I have for you, is make it easy to be productive. And what I mean by this is figure out the type of environment you need to be productive. Do you need to have some music going? If you work from home, like, would it be good to have a candle? Do you need to put your phone in the other room? If you're working in an office, can you put your phone somewhere else where you won't have those distractions? Or can you also set yourself up for success by rewarding yourself? Like, if I, finish this task, I'll go for a 5-minute walk. Or if I finish this task, I'll go walk by someone's desk and talk to them, or whatever it may be. Figure out a way to reward yourself for getting things done. That way it feels even better to get things done. And it can also create some resistance, right? Like, I won't watch that YouTube video until I clean. That way it creates a little bit of that resistance and motivation to do the action, and then I reward myself. So there's things like that you can start to set up. to make it easy and also fun to be productive. And the final thing here is start to notice some of those things that could be impacting your productivity. For example, if you are not getting enough sleep, that could be impacting you. If you are drinking too much caffeine and you crash in the afternoon, find yourself still being hungover from the weekend, like try and think about some of these things that you are doing that you think might be good for you, but could also really be impacting your productivity, and maybe start to make some tweaks. All in all, I'm not preaching for you that you always have to be productive. Rather, I'm just offering some solutions as to how you could be more productive if that is something that you've struggled with in the past. I also want to pour into you that this is going to take time and it's going to take some experimenting. So just have fun with it, go easy on yourself, and just do the best you can and try to figure out how you can get 1% better each time that you're trying to be productive. And say, for example, you tried out doing a certain task on Friday, but your brain, like say it was something creatively that you needed to do on a Friday and it was just not working. Try and move that task earlier in the week, right? Try and figure out things like that you can shift around so that way you can be more productive. If you have any follow-up questions or want to share your favorite productivity hack, feel free to leave me a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to join our very vibey family. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.